Hi. Today I want to tell a story. And you'd think that I would come into this video knowing what story that I wanted to tell, but here I am, as always, just pressing play and seeing what wants to come out. Something that I've been thinking a lot about lately has been trying to navigate being in the 3D world when you are clicking into your timeline, like your 5D timeline, like your superconsciousness becomes like it just starts to come online, and you realize that you don't want to scrub toilets for a living. And like, don't get me wrong, like one of the best things that you can do when you're stuck and you're frustrated, it's like, humbling yourself by going and cleaning your toilet. It's like, it feels good actually. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but coming to the realization that you were sold an idea of what work is. And you were told that you have to work really, really hard at it all the time. And then you come online and you realize that life should flow a little bit more for you. And you deserve a little bit of luxury, I want to say. And maybe you do deserve to put your feet up, and you deserve money to flow to you and abundance to flow to you. And maybe you don't have to work your fingers to the bone day in and day out to get what you want. Because I've spent the last better part of a decade, well, probably about a decade, working extremely, extremely hard in tough jobs. And I would tell myself that it was so worth it, because I would get home and I would be exhausted and my legs would be restless, but like I put in a good day's work, and I knew that the paycheck was coming to support what I thought was hard work. When I got into serving, when I was 19, I fell in love with how much money I could make. I love money. I wanted to be a financial planner. At one point, I story within a story for another day, but the time that I wanted to become a financial planner, and I was also in my first year of university and trying to navigate that, but I used to watch Till Death Do Us Part as like a 9-year-old. I don't know why. I just loved it. I just thought money was so fascinating. And then when I finally started making boatloads of money, I was like, oh, this is good. I can generate so much. And I after many years of serving throughout my time in university, I ended up saving about $60,000. I was so, and I spent money, like I had my own place, like I bought my own groceries, I was paying for university, like I was taking care of myself, and serving was extremely good to me. And I used to spend my free time on realtor.ca. And so back in the day, when I was going through university, you could buy a house. You could buy a townhouse for about $92,000 to like $110,000. You could buy like a 3-4 bedroom in a good neighborhood for like $240,000. Like you could get a lot for under $300,000. And so I had been saving like a miser, and I had so much money in my bank account, and I I wanted to buy a house. I would look at realtor.ca all the time, every day. But nothing ever propelled me to like go to a broker and like actually start. There was one point where I had it in my mind that I couldn't do it because on paper it looked like I made like 10 grand a year. But I obviously had this $60,000 that I could have it as a down payment, but because it looked like I made $10,000 a year, like I had it in my mind that nobody would look at me. And so, and at the time, like my parent, no one was like, here, like, let's help you, like, we'll co-sign. Like, nobody really encouraged me to pursue that goal. So that money just sat in my bank account for so long. And it got to a point where I was like, oh my gosh, like, okay, like, I guess I'm not buying a house. I guess I'm not doing that. But what I ended up doing, which is pretty cool, was I paid off my loan, my university loan, right away. I called them and I just paid it right off. I went and bought a brand new car, a brand new stinking car, bought it in cash. And I also got married that year. And so I paid for that entire thing. And I drained every last cent of all of that money I earned. And so here I am, this girl that had a plan to buy a house and to save and to go to university and then to get a job and go down this like straight and narrow path that the universe and my family had set out for me and what I thought I wanted to do with my life. And then I spent like $4,000 on my wedding dress. We spent like $10,000 on food. We were like, yeah, like fine. I didn't even eat any of it. They like threw it out. We got back up to our room at the end of our wedding and we called room service and we're like, yo, like we just got married here and you guys threw out all our food. I didn't eat anything. Like we want wraps. Bring them up to us. We're not freaking paying for them. We paid you enough. Pillar and post. Jeez. Point I'm trying to make is that we spent it all. And that like concludes the end of the straight and narrow path life that I had set out for myself. Because once that all happened and I was working for Canada Life, I got into this insurance company and everyone was like, oh my God, it's such a great company. You're going to work your way up. You're going to do amazing. I would have done amazing. I was good at what I did. I already like had switched departments. Like I would have done extremely well there. But my soul was dying. My soul was absolutely dying. I was drowning my pain in cannabis daily. I was so unhappy. I wasn't taking care of my body. I was, pizza Fridays turned into pizza weekends. I was exercising, but there was a lot of problems. And so here I am draining all my savings accounts for things that I wanted, like I worked for it, and like this is how life happens, right? But I did it, paid off school, bought a wedding, and I bought a car. So I got all the pieces and I had a job. So it's like I had all the pieces lined up for this like straight and narrow life. But my soul was crying. My soul was in pain. So once that happened, I think I was at London Life or Canada Life for like 8 months, and I was like, I'm fucking done. I'm done. And I quit. And then I didn't have a job and I didn't have any money anymore. I had nothing left. And it was like, that's where my life actually began. And, I discovered yoga. I was working out one day and the manager of the gym was like, yo, like we've been watching you, like what's your deal, like are you a trainer? And I was like, no, movement's been a part of my life for since I was a kid. And he was like, we want you to join us. And I ended up becoming a personal trainer. And, that led me on the path of like alternative income, essentially. At one point, Josh and I tried to do like an Amazon online store. That didn't work out. That was $1,000 that we lost. But we tried. Like, we were trying to like get out of this path and like finding ways to be self-sufficient and find income in other ways that aren't just time for money. And so fast forward, I went through many different jobs, kind of went back to serving a little bit here and there, but I was not able to sustain any money in my bank account. We just like were living. We were okay. We had most of our needs met, and we were just living. Then COVID hit, and it was like, here's $2,000 a month. It was like, perfect. Did art all day. It was still stony pants, so smoked a lot of weed. Tried to create this business called Wraps Creative Clothing. It's still a really good idea, and like we'll bring it out into the world again. It's a beautiful concept, actually. We tried creating that as a business. I tried recording videos, yoga videos, for years before I've been able to actually post online. So this has been like a really long time coming. Just try to do other things with our time. Did art, played with flat. Like, we just, it was such a fun time just to play and explore and not worry about what are we going to do for our careers. It's like, okay, well, like, all of our basic needs are taken care of, so what do? It was fun. It was creative. Did a lot of meditation. Just did so much stuff. And so fast forward, living in this life, we're doing okay, both self-employed. Housing market goes crazy. There's, prices go bananas, and it's like, okay, well, like, we're not gonna get in. We're both, self-employed. We're not making that much. And now, even that $60,000 that I had back in the day, that's like nothing now, which is wild. And so, when I was pregnant, I was, contracting as a group fitness instructor and yoga teacher. And I was like, oh gosh, like, I do not qualify for EI. What am I going to do? I knew that I didn't want to like go back to work right away. I wanted to be a mom for at least a little bit. And so I decided to, there's basically what ended up happening is I ended up going back to school and getting OSAP. And OSAP is so different than it was back when I was in school. It used to be all loans and no grants. And then this time around, it was like, here's grants to cover your entire $10,000 tuition, plus money to live off of. And then here's some loans for you if you need. It was wild. So we navigated for an entire year. It's now September. It's been a year since I got that money, and we're diving into those loans a little bit, but I have been able to basically survive without having a stable income for years. Magic, baby, magic. Trusting in this universe. It's been hard. It's been scary. There's been like some really challenging times where we've been like, we've had to dig our way out of some holes, but we're doing okay. We're doing okay. So now my son's 14 months, almost 15 months, and for the last little bit I went back to serving just to have a little bit of income coming in, talk to some people, just like getting out into the world again, and just more for the socialization aspect than anything. But it's really made me realize that the lull and the pull of this, like, the 3D money, we all want it, we all need it to survive. It's like, no wonder you get caught up in it. But it's like, I'm so tired, I love serving, but like, would I do it if I wasn't getting paid for it? And like the answer is probably not. Like I do it for the money, number one. And especially with, this transition and this awakening and this realization of like, I am a 5D creature having this 3D experience. It's like I have been wanting to like open myself up to the possibility of being a voice and like being myself for a living, getting paid for being me. I don't have to do someone else's job and have to like conform to these protocols, and I'll scrub a toilet. It's fine. That's fine. If that's like part of my reality, I'll scrub a toilet. That's fine. But like, I just want to be able to do this. And this is the beauty about where we're at and the technology that we have, and also the communities that people build. Like I've been a part of so many YouTube communities, and these content creators are getting paid directly from you, from people watching. And people are like, I'm going to invest in you. I believe in you and your vision, and I want you to have a good life so that you can continue to put out content that brings me joy, laughter, a sense of safety, security, and connection. Amazing. I just want to be a part of that. And it took a really long time. I have years of content. My YouTube draft folder is just like housing all of my old yoga content that I was scared to put on, and my raps content that I was afraid to post. And I have tarot videos and oracle messages from years ago, and like I'm so proud of that girl for trying, continuing to live in that 3D while she was like working through everything, dealing with the blocks, and just like waiting for the timing to be right. And I'm so proud of that girl that saved $60,000 while going through university, who paid for her entire wedding, who would not take anything from anyone, who did it herself because that's what she wanted to do. Regardless of conditioning, regardless of everything, it's like she did it. I'm so proud of her. And I'm so proud of this version who, is coming home from her 3D job that she's really not there very, very often, but realizing that it's like there's more to my world. There's more to my world, and I have this beautiful opportunity, thanks to all of you. I have this beautiful opportunity to come home and speak and use my voice to make a change, make a shift. And that's what I want to do. And I want to be rolling in the dough. I really do, because I have some big plans. And I want nothing more than to support my community and my family and myself, and I want to do really good things for people and animals and the world and the people of tomorrow. And I remember listening to a podcast, a Sam Harris podcast on his Waking Up app, and he was having a conversation, I'm not sure who it was with, but they were talking about effective altruism. And he said, some people are in altruism by volunteering or canvassing or cleaning up oceans or donating a percentage of their income, and that's great, it's amazing. But he said, if you are the type of person that is able to generate billions of dollars that can then be distributed around the world, you have an obligation to do that. You have an obligation. And oftentimes as creators, and especially, I think I've mentioned before, coming from, my yogic background, feel scary to take money because it doesn't feel right, because you're just doing it because you want to support people and you want them to feel held and you want them to feel better about themselves, and you just want to share your love because like it's amazing. Yoga, meditation, the awakening, like love, it's amazing, and you just want everyone to share in that. So it's hard to charge money and it's hard to accept money, and that's a blockage that we have to work through, because if there is a chance that I can make so much money and I can be on big stages and I can share this information, then I have an obligation to do so. And I want to be able to do that doing this rather than, cleaning toilets. But like I said, I will if I have to. So this time around, when that money flows to me, because I am a money magnet, I am abundant, and it is my birthright. This time around, I'm going to be able to make a big difference and a big shift in both my life and the lives of everyone else around me. So thank you for being here and for being a part of this journey, because it's one we're going to take together. I've had a piece of toast in the oven for like 21 minutes. It's going to be burnt to the crisp. I gotta go. Bye.